Hey, what's up everyone? This is Silver Slayer. I stumbled upon a gold mine of information. Hands down, one of the best articles covering silver I've ever read. We're going to dissect this critical information, but first, make sure you're subscribed. We're on the road to 40,000 subscribers, and I'll be giving away more than $1,000 worth of silver. That's a huge milestone for me, and I want every single one of you to have a chance to win big. More importantly, let's get back to the business, and if you're new, welcome. So this article is long and full of information, so we're going to jump straight into it. Silver investors resolute. Silver investors have proven remarkably resolute since the metal's parabolic peak in August. Remember, silver was about $30 in August, and it was $11 in March. It's like a 142% increase. A lot of people don't remember that, and a lot of people won't talk about it purposely. The dominant SLV silver ETF's bullion holdings, representing investment demand, have held near highs in recent months. That was despite a silver correction following an unprecedented vertical soaring in SLV's holdings, driven by a record capital inflow from stock traders. Silver investors largely held through that sell-off. So this article explains a lot about what the prices were doing and what that's going to do moving forwards. And this is some very, very insightful stuff that's going to show us a lot about 2021. And I love this article because they back it with facts and data. So silver soared last summer on skyrocketing demand from stock traders stampeding into silver ETF shares. These huge positions that sure looked speculative initially have largely stayed deployed since, even riding out a silver correction. That implies these holdings are now being viewed as long-term investments. The silver investors' resoluteness is very bullish for this metal, keeping silver high, which fuels growing interest. Silver has certainly had a wild ride this year, more than living up to its super speculative reputation. It got sucked into the overwhelming maelstrom of fear, and that was from mid-March stock panic on government's pandemic lockdowns, plummeting 35% in under a month. The resulting $11.96, that was brutal, well below silver miners and all sustaining costs of production. Silver had been left for dead in that basically 11-year low. But like a phoenix rising from the ashes, silver's rebound out of those extreme lows was incredibly violent. Over the next 4.8 months into early August, silver skyrocketed 142% higher to basically $30, $29. That proved its best level in 7.4 years. If such high silver prices can be sustained, that would be a game changer for the long struggling major silver miners. And so far, these way better silver prices have largely held since. So what does that mean? Right? That's a whole bunch of numbers, but what does it mean? In the 4.4 months since its latest up-leg peak, silver has averaged an impressive $25 on close. That's 54% higher than 2019's average price. So if a lot of people try to compare silver last year to silver this year and look at it just from a price, they're not going to see the stuff behind the scene. You got to read in between the lines. And it shows a lot more information looking forwards. These far higher prevailing silver levels are resulting from silver investors' resolve. They haven't unwound most of their massive new positions added during the past summer. That suggests they believe silver's secular bull will keep powering even higher on balance. Unfortunately, world silver supply and demand fundamentals are really opaque. Despite its enthusiasts and following, silver is a tiny global market with a dearth of reliable data. And this is the bad thing. And this is also why I try to cover so much information on a daily basis, because it is very opaque, right? The Silver Institute, like they said right here, silver's definitive fundamental read is only published once a year by the Silver Institute. And that's why when the Silver Institute posts something, I always say this stuff is a gold mine of information because it rarely comes out. The Silver Institute's really the only source that you can get this information from. And if you guys remember, a couple months ago, the Silver Institute even said $50+ silver next year, right? One of the most resourceful, recognizable, reliable sources is very, very bullish on silver. The last one that was released in late April covering 2019. Thankfully, silver investment has far higher resolution proxy. So that's the physical silver bullion holdings of the leading and dominant shares Silver Trust SLV. They are published daily, vastly superior to the annual peak provided by the World Silver, by the WSS. Launched way back in April 2006, SLV has grown into a silver juggernaut. Last year, silver's holdings grew 45.4 million ounces to hit 362 million ounces. So if you guys are noticing, silver's risk, the risky, crazier little brother of gold, is starting to seem like a mainstream investment. It's more of a safer investment instead of risky. And that's because silver is starting to build some ground, build some foundation under it. In the 81 million ounces of silver that exchange-traded funds brought in 2019 weighed in at nearly a third of overall investment demand. Last spring, when they were preparing their latest WSS, its analysts forecast major growth in silver demand through ETFs this year. They projected this silver demand soaring 46% year on year to 120 million ounces in 2020. But even that optimistic view fell way short of what they recently transpired. Listen to this, guys. With this year winding to a close, SLV's holdings alone have skyrocketed 194 million ounces year to date. Among all kinds of excellent data in the World Silver Survey, reports in the silver bullion totals held in physically backed ETFs around the world. At the end of the year, SLV's holdings commanded 49% of the world total. So this American silver ETF dominates its space, and silver ETFs are increasingly silver's main driver. Silver ETF's mission is to track and mirror the underlying silver price. But the supply and demand for silver ETF shares is independent from silver's own. Essentially the same market, though. And if you do invest in ETFs, let me know in the comments below. Or do you just buy the physical bullion? I always go by this. If you can't hold it, you don't own it. And that's the saying of the stackers. But there are people that diversify. Some people may just do the ETP side of things. Let me know. So the only way ETFs can maintain price parity is with silver to shunt excess silver ETF share supply and demand directly into silver itself. That requires making these ETFs actual conduits for stock market capital to flow in and out of real physical silver bullion. So when SLV share demand exceeds silver, those share prices will decouple from silver's to the upside. SLV's managers prevent this by issuing enough new shares to offset this differential demand in real time. Then they immediately plow the proceeds from those new shares into buying more physical silver bullion for their vaults. So when SLV's holdings are rising, stock market capital is flowing into silver. See, it's all connecting. It's all, the dots are all connecting. This is the perfect storm. The perfect storm is here. The stars have aligned. The floodgates have opened. But nobody's talking about this, right? And this is why this article is so vital, so crucial, so critical to know, to comprehend, and to dissect. Now do you see why I was so excited to share this article with you guys? When SLV share supply runs higher than silver's, those share prices threaten to disconnect from silver's to the downside. SLV's managers avert this by buying back enough shares to absorb the differential supply in real time. They raise the money to finance those purchases by selling some of their silver bullion hoards. So when SLV's holdings are falling, stock market capital is shifting back out of silver. In a full year of remarkable and unprecedented market action, what happened in SLV's holdings is near the top of the most amazing list. The silver bull chart superimposes SLV's physical silver bullion holdings held in trust for its shareholders over silver's price and technicals. I marveled at this chart last summer as silver soared, and marvel at the incredible resolve silver investors have shown since. They are hanging tight. There's a lot of stability here. So if you don't know what all this means, right, it's okay. Right now, we need to focus on what the demand is, what the supply is, and also moving forwards, how the economy can affect silver's price. This is what I always say. If you can, or if we can accurately get an idea on what's going to happen next year, and I don't mean from just a political standpoint, I mean from miners, from demand, from supply, from stimulus, all of that combined, if we can get an idea, which that all is very bullish for silver, and then look at the patterns historically from charts, then we can incorporate economic data from chart data and get a very, very good educated guess, a very accurate guess. And it's all looking upwards. And even looking at these numbers, it's looking very bullish for silver. I mean, you could try to debate this all you want. You can try to debunk it, but the numbers add up. The data's here. See, we're investors. We look at this information and we invest off of this. Gamblers don't look at any of this information. They just throw money out and hope that they're right. They just hope that it sticks. Now, do you see why investors are so much more profitable, get paid off at such a higher ratio than gambling? So, let's skip around because this article is extremely long. So I'm going to try to highlight the main parts. So let's keep going. I'm trying, because I read through this article a little bit and they made some really good points. So let's try to keep moving on. So it was really fun writing this is good. I like this little segment. So it was really fun writing that blistering post-panic silver up leg this year. And some of our biggest realized gains came in silver stock trades, running as high as 199%. But stock traders are notorious for being momentum players. They love piling in when something is soaring, but once it peaks, it starts selling. They are off quick to exit and move to the next exciting thing. So I feared heavy SLV selling was looming. All bull market up legs are followed by healthy corrections to rebalance sentiment and technicals, and that's good. That's a real thing. Anytime, a lot of people panic sell when a correction happens, guys. Every time, let's say silver started to jump towards $28, $29 in the next couple months, there's going to be a correction. And I'll talk about it too, that silver's probably going to drop. The new people, the new stackers, that's going to be extremely scary because they think, oh, silver's $30. This is great. It's going to keep going higher. But then it starts to go downwards. Wait, so you're saying that it's actually better for silver to drop before it keeps going? Yes. That's actually true. We need it to go down for it to go up even higher. That's called a correction. It's the market's rebalancing, because when it starts going higher, it becomes overbought. That means everyone keeps buying it, and there has to be some sell-off. The magnitude of those sell-offs tend to be similar to the preceding up legs. The first three up legs of the silver bull were fairly modest, averaging 35%, yet the subsequent corrections following them still averaged major 28% losses, excluding the anomalous stock panic one, and the other two averaged 23%. So, and I like how he mentions this right here too. Robinhood brought a whole new wave, of money into silver. Nowadays, it's much easier to invest even into SLV or any type of exchange traded fund, and that's because we're advancing technologically. You can go on an app right now and just buy silver. Before, you couldn't do that. And since the Bitcoin boom happened, a lot of younger investors are rising to the occasion. Before Bitcoin, it was probably people in their 30s, 40s, higher. Now, since people saw what Bitcoin did back in 2017, they see that investing can be extremely profitable, and they probably missed the boat, so they see this as their next chance, a chance that they can finally get in. So, and they had to know how to work exchanges back then. Robinhood's a very easy app to use. Back in 2017, Coinbase, where you bought Bitcoin, was the #1 downloaded app on Android and iOS. That's crazy. There's a lot of good apps. Facebook app, Instagram, right? Snapchat. Coinbase was the #1 downloaded app on Android and iOS. So people are interested in investing nowadays more than ever in younger generations. These kids, they're tech savvy, right? You're seeing 18, 19, 20 You're seeing all these younger kids investing now, and I see it on my channel. I get DMs from people on Instagram that are 18, right, that are investing. And it's so exciting because we're seeing what the future of investing is going to look like, and that's also a lot more money coming in to precious metals. Silver is a much smaller market than gold, so if silver gets money thrown in, it gets affected more than gold, which is also why silver is more volatile. That's why it's like gold on steroids. So anyways, they keep going in, and if you want to read this article, the link will be in the description. I'm skipping through a lot because there is a lot of information in this article. We're going to wrap this up here. So they include one of the world's purest major primary silver miners and the world's newest primary silver producer just spinning up its first time. The fundamentally superior silver stocks amplify silver's upside in bull markets with uplegs, obviously. So this means that the odds of silver's correction's over. So its next upleg could already be marching on. So the bottom is hit. The bottom line is silver investors have proven remarkably resolute since this metal's parabolic peak in early August. The dominant silver, or the SLV silver ETF's bullion holdings, which are the best daily proxy for global silver investment demand, have held near highs in recent months. That was despite a silver correction following an unprecedented vertical soaring in SLV's holdings, driven by record capital inflows from stock traders. The fact is, silver investors haven't unwound the great majority of their huge summer buying, and that implies they still expect this silver bull to keep running higher. They're not selling off. The money's still in it. That makes sense with silver being a tiny global market and a vast deluge of new central bank liquidity. With lots more capital competing for roughly the same amounts of above ground silver, great upside potential remains. The better silver mining stocks will amplify silver's gains. And a lot of the above ground silver is getting lost in technology. Gold is remelted, rescrapped, reused, recycled, because gold is used for coins, earrings, right? That's the majority of gold's use. So it gets remelted. People pawn all that stuff, right? They sell all that stuff because it's profitable. Silver is an industrial metal. It's used more in laptops, cell phones, stuff like that. Stuff that gets thrown away. So a lot of silver that's circulating gets thrown away and it's not recirculating. Most gold is recirculating. So the silver supply is diminishing, plus miners don't dig it up because it's not profitable to do so. They'd rather go after something that's going to put more money in their pockets. There's only a few focal silver mines. Most silver is found by byproduct, which means by accident. They're looking for gold, lead, zinc. If they find some silver, they'll take it, but they're not looking for it. So you can see why this is going to lead to a huge supply shortage. Silver is already scarce and people are fighting for it. Everyone's trying to get a slice of the silver pie. So anyways, I'm going to wrap this video up here. If you thought this video was educational, informational, at least entertaining, make sure to smash the like button. Like I said, you need to be subscribed. I'm doing a massive 40,000 subscriber giveaway. Thanks for tuning in. This was Silver Slayer. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.